Hello and welcome to our 8-week fat loss program. I'm Chase, and I'm going to be covering with you every single week something that is going to be critical to your ability to lose body fat. So, not only do we give you obviously the workouts, which is going to be very helpful for you going forward, but fat loss is much more than that. And same goes for honestly pretty much any fitness endeavor. We focus on several different buckets with our one on one clients. So we're talking about sleep, we're talking about stress, we're talking about nutrition in addition to exercise. And honestly, we don't say exercise, we say movement because it's not always in a gym where this is taking place. So there is a heck of a lot for most people to learn. Honestly, sometimes if I'm being 100% transparent, I get a little disheartened sometimes when I think about all that is required for somebody to learn and know in order to have long term success in fat loss. This is why so many people struggle. But what we're going to do is we're going to fix that. That's why this video exists. Is why you're going to get all these videos over the next 8 weeks to educate you on these topics. So what I want to do today is not overwhelm you with all of that information all at once, but rather cover more or less what this whole program is going to be doing. So you kind of have a heads up, you know what to look forward to. And then I'm going to give you some little tidbits here towards the end, some things to focus on. So I have right here in my hands my notes for me so I can keep track so that I don't miss anything. But also what I would highly recommend, if you take a second, pause the video, go get a pen and paper. Our brain remembers things better and for some reason seems to believe them more when we write them down. So if you go grab pen and paper, take some notes, I'll give you a second to do that. And follow along with me that way that you can truly learn about these things so that your results stick and they don't just come and go, because at that point results that you don't keep really aren't exactly results at all right, so here's our topic list for today. Here's what we're going to go over today very briefly. Each of these things, most of these things, are going to be overviews. We're going to talk about your progress. So how much body fat should you expect to lose over the course of the next 8 weeks? We're going to talk about exercise recovery, nutrition for fat loss, and tomorrow, once we get through these things, tomorrow we're going to go over the nutrition hierarchy, which is going to be a huge key for you to understanding how to eat for your goals. So let's start first and foremost with how much body fat should you expect to lose over the course of the next 8 weeks? So why is this important to know? Why is it important to know how fast you should be progressing? Well, I had heard a quote one time that you can gain muscle pretty rapidly if you know what you're doing, as difficult as that is, and most people don't know what they're doing, unfortunately. You can lose muscle really, really fast. You can gain body fat pretty fast, like at a rapid rate. Like if you ate tens of thousands of calories every single day, you would gain body fat very, very quickly. But one thing you cannot do is lose body fat rapidly. Our bodies are just simply not designed that way. If so, I don't think we would have survived as a species. That doesn't make any sense. So, survival wise, if we look out through all of human history, if we lost body fat at a rapid rate, if our bodies had the ability to do that, we probably wouldn't be here. So, should you expect to lose 30 pounds in the next 30 days? Probably not. I've seen similar progress like that happen for people who are 350 pounds and have a lot of weight to lose. I've had clients myself do that that have gone on to lose over 100 pounds. But I can tell you with a great degree of certainty, there is a range that we focus on. And when somebody's over that range, typically we know that they're doing something that is not going to have any sustainability, which means that they're not going to keep those results. Or it's something that's only going to happen initially and it's going to slow back down to within this range. Or if they're below that range, we know that they're really not doing what they should be doing. So I'm going to give you this range. We're going to talk about what that range is. And also, I want to mention very briefly before I give you that your progress will not always show up on the scale. And I know everybody's like, yeah, whatever, right? I know that. That's cool. But most of you don't truly believe it. And here's what I need for you to understand is that the scale is just one measurement. Weight is only one measurement. And you can be building muscle, you can be building bone density, you can be increasing glycogen content in your muscles, which is very nerdy of me to say, but it's true, which is basically water. It's water and sugar mixed together as fuel for our muscles. Your body's going to start keeping more of that around as you exercise because it's going to see a need to, right? So all of those things will make the scale go up. They're all positive things, but they'll make the scale go up. So you can be losing body fat at the same rate that you're gaining in all those other areas and not see that scale go down. So we like to use progress pictures, which can sometimes be difficult because those are subjective and body dysmorphia is a very, very, very real thing. but progress pictures can be helpful over long term. We like using inch measurements, around our waist, around our arms, whatever. Those should be loaded in for you to, as a task here on our app, to check those things off. And then also, how are you feeling? How are you sleeping? How's your focus? How's your energy throughout the day? Those things are very, very important. Does that mean that if you're sleeping better, you're going to lose more body fat? Actually, technically, yes, but not always, right? They're not always directly correlated, though better sleep will improve your body fat. We're going to get to that in a couple weeks. So let's get down to it. How much weight should you expect to lose every single week? So let me say one last thing, that this is an average. If you look for this linearly, I don't know if that's a word, but if you look through this on a straight line, you're not going to find it. You're going to get discouraged and you will quit. I guarantee it. I promise you, if I had 100 in my pocket, I would lay it out right now. I guarantee if you look at the scale every single day and expect progress every single day, you will quit and you will fail, period. So we chart our weight over time and we see trends over time over the course of 3-4 months. That's why I do that for my clients. I don't have them do it because they would get so discouraged, they would give up. But what you should be seeing on average, so you do it every day for a month and then you look. You don't look every day. You don't care what it says every day. You do it for a month, you do the right things, and then you come back and look. You should see between 0.5 and 2 pounds down per week. Okay, so over the course of a month, about 8-10 pounds, or about 4 pounds, or about 2.5 pounds. The reason why I see 0.5 is less than 0.5, you're really not moving the needle every single week. And anything over 2 pounds a week, you're getting into territory where you're losing 15-20 pounds a month, and that's very, very aggressive, and you might put yourself in a situation where you're learning habits that are very unsustainable and things that are going to put you on a lot of stress and pressure, and we're going to get a big rebound 9 times out of 10. Doesn't always happen, but a lot of times it happens. So that's something you can look for, kind of gauge. More is not always better. Sustainable is always going to be better. So body fat measurements, if you want to get those, our coaches all know how to do those. We can do those for you. Measurements and progress pictures in addition with your weight. Use those things to get a more complete view of your progress. And at the end of the day, what I like to remind my clients is that if the scale didn't move today, it didn't move last week, it didn't move this week, it does not change your need to keep doing the same things right. It doesn't change your need to sleep better. It doesn't change your need to meal prep. It doesn't change your need to exercise. It doesn't change your need to manage your stress, right? That's not gonna, whether it went up or down, it don't matter. You still have to do those things. So focus less on those things. Focus more on the things that and we know will produce progress, which I'm about to give to you. And you will see progress, right? You're human. You're not some weird alien where this doesn't work for you, I promise. So what kind of things should we focus on? So I'm going to give you an overview, and then in the coming weeks and days, I'm going to deep dive into these and really give you expansion upon all of these bullet points. And then we're going to wrap up. So exercise for fat loss. Let me go through just a couple quick notes here for you of what that is going to actually look like. Okay, so when you're exercising for fat loss, what is not going to happen? You are not, 1000%, you are not going to burn enough calories in the gym to lose body fat. Okay, if you stay in there for hours and hours on end, maybe, right, you can make that happen. You're not David Goggins, you probably have kids, you probably have school, you probably have work, you probably have a lot of responsibilities. You can't be doing that, right? So for real people, losing all of your body fat doesn't happen in the gym. It happens through a culmination of all of these variables happening at one time. So why would I say that and give you a fat loss exercise program? Why would I do that? The reason why we prescribe exercise for fat loss, obviously, it does burn calories. That's good. We can improve how our hormones work and how our body works and become healthier and help our body increase our metabolism and do all these things that makes this kind of whole pie all work together, makes things send us down the right direction for fat loss. I know that's very vague of me. I'm sorry, but you become healthier. You become healthier when you exercise. Fit and healthy people move their body every single day. That means that if you want to be a fit and healthy person, you're going to have to move your body pretty much every single day. Does that mean you're going to do a grueling leg workout every single day? No, it doesn't. Does that mean you're going to run 10 miles every day? No. It means you're going to move. You might take a 10-minute walk. You might go to a yoga class. You might go, do some mobility work in your garage or in your basement or wherever, right? That doesn't mean that you are going to do a hard workout every day. It means you're going to move every single day. And when we move every single day, especially in modern day life, we're healthier. So we have less health complications. I could go on literally for hours on end about that. We're going to have less joint pain, which means that we're going to be more inclined to move more. It's a self-reinforcing cycle, which allows us to burn more calories. So a lot of these things, what will end up happening is less about what happens in the gym. They're a result of what happens in the gym, but they don't happen in the gym. You do these workouts, you do this exercise, and then outside of the gym, all these amazing things start happening in concert together, and you start to burn body fat because of those. But these are caused by your workouts in the gym, right? And it's a place where we can work on some really specific things and just get you feeling great. Because I haven't seen a lot of people that don't move and sit around all day have a good mental space. This may be controversial to me. This may be whatever. Actually, it's evidence-based. So if you think it's controversial, honestly, you can shove it. I don't care. You cannot be mentally healthy and mentally strong if you don't move your body, if you don't exercise. I 1000% don't believe that. I don't think that you can sit around all day. Does that mean that if you move more, you're going to be more mentally healthy? If you move less, it's good. It's not a spectrum. It's not a direct correlation. But I know for a fact if you want to make positive change in your life, you want to become more mentally resilient, it's not going to happen, you sitting behind a desk 8 hours a day and then going home and sitting in the recliner and, sitting in your car on the way to work and never moving. I'm of the belief that if you move your body, you're going to be happier and healthier and fitter. So we don't move our body for a lot of reasons. Now, let me give you a little nugget because we are going to get into this much deeper here in a few weeks. When you are trying to lose body fat, all of your efforts exercise-wise are going to be directed toward that, at least the ones that aren't directed towards mobility, joint health, all those other things. But you're going to prioritize things like cardio. You're still going to do strength training because the number one thing that you should be focused on whenever you're doing any sort of exercise for fat loss is how little muscle can you lose. Because when you're eating fewer and fewer calories, that is what's called catabolic, which means it's consuming tissue. Your body does not discriminate whether it's going to be muscle or fat. If you want to move a long distance, you want your body to get adapted to that, which is what you're asking it to do when you're doing cardio. You want it to move a long distance efficiently. It's going to adapt to that. It's going to drop muscle because muscle is very heavy. So if we lose a lot of muscle, the scale will go down, but we'll actually have a higher body fat percentage because the amount of body fat on our body didn't change, but the weight and the size of our body changed, which means the proportion of that just went up. For you, those of you who aren't a math whiz out there, just trust me. But what is going to happen when you're trying to lose body fat? You're going to lose muscle. It's going to happen. It's how little can we lose? So our focus is on doing just a couple things. A little bit of resistance training is already programmed for you. Just the right amount, not too much, not too little. You can certainly do more. If you have more time, if you have more focus, go for it. If it makes you feel great, absolutely. You don't have to worry about doing too much. Do your cardio, do the strength training prescribed and maybe a little bit more, but don't do less. Don't cut it out. It is vitally important that you do this strength training and do it with enough intensity that you are causing your body to believe this is essential to our everyday life, right? So that's going to be the first thing. And the other part is muscle is going to do a lot of things for your hormones, for your blood sugar. It is very, very important that we maintain muscle for our health. I practice what is called muscle-centric medicine. I can't say I'm a practitioner in any form of like actual medicine or anything. Let's clear the air on that. But I learned in that school of thought from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon out in San Francisco. And I strongly believe that is the key to longevity in modern day life is maintaining and having healthy muscle. So your exercise is going to include things to prevent muscle loss. Long story short. Next, we're going to talk about recovery for fat loss because you can't just blast yourself with exercise. You have to recover from it to get the adaptation. That's going to come from sleep and stress management. So we're going to do a deep dive on sleep and stress management, and then your nutrition for fat loss. Tomorrow we're going to go over the nutrition hierarchy. The nutrition hierarchy everybody gets wrong, and that's why everybody struggles. So I'm going to go over that with you. And then also we're going to go over the amount of protein you should be having, and talking about fat and calories and carbohydrates and all of those things. So that's going to give you a really good idea of exactly what your nutrition should be looking like, and then we'll get into the food choices and meal prepping and all that stuff a little bit later. If you want a little sneak peek, if you want to know, you're going to be eating about 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, and then you're going to use some form of calculator or use ours. We can help you do that. to get your calories. And then carbs and fats, just to be super short and quick with it, they don't matter. Doesn't matter, how much carbohydrate, how much fat you have, as much or as little, literally could not matter less. You can't eat no fat, right? Because you'll die. You can't eat no carbohydrate. Sometimes that's not always wise. Sometimes it is. We'll get into that much later. But a gram of protein per centimeter of height and the right amount of calories coming from the rest of carbohydrates and fat. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go over that in depth tomorrow, but there's a good overview for you. A bunch of little nuggets in there. The main thing taken away today, because we're going to cover everything else in depth in the future, is how fast should you be progressing? And the truth is that regardless of whether you're doing great or you're not, you have to keep doing the same thing. So you either need to get better at those things or keep doing those things. So it's not a signal to let up because you're doing well. It's not a signal to quit because you're not. It's always going to be, just a result. It's what we call a lag indicator. It's what is going on is based on what has already happened in the past. So you cannot change those things, right? It's only your future actions. If you want that result to change, it is going to depend on the actions that you take today, the things you do today. So if we let those things, kind of get in our head and influence those things, it's literally the opposite of what's supposed to happen. So anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox. Thank you for watching. I hope you took a couple notes. Hope you learned something. If you have questions, last thing, if you have questions throughout this process, this messenger is always open. Best thing to do, if you can find us in person or if you can message us on social media, we'll try to answer your questions here. But if that's convenient for you, but get a hold of us somehow. We love to answer your questions. It's one of my favorite things in the world when people ask a really great question, or actually reaches out with help, because truth be told, a lot of people don't, and a lot of people fail because of that. We have, I've studied under literally the top minds in the world, and I have a lot of knowledge and I want to give it to you. So I can only put so much on a video without boring you. So please ask questions. If you need extra help, you know where to find us. I'll see you tomorrow to cover a lot more about nutrition.